Hi class, welcome back. Cleaned up half my mess. I still have more to do. Yeah, I just wanted to actually point out the two pieces behind us. This is actually one of the ones that we did last week, the hair gel resist print with kitchen trivets and dyes, alcohol spray, and hair gel. Now, what makes this one pretty special is it's actually based on top of a piece of wall covering. So it was, actually I was able to run this in my line, but it's like a crackle pattern, and it took a long time to paint this whole thing because I did it all by hand. But it's got, some of the lines connect, some don't, but it was perfect for this. And then where it wasn't connecting, this is actually on a strike off, where it wasn't connecting, I was able to go back in with a really fine brush and paint in the rest. You might be able to see it where you are, but gold flecks, okay? So you've got this wonderful kind of, almost like a spider web in a way, or eggshell crackle, and then you've got this, a couple techniques quite over. You can almost see where the trivets were. This one, again, this actually started out, I'm showing this one today because of, this actually started out as shaving lotion technique. If you look really closely, you can see a little bit of the mineral buildup and stuff, which is quite exciting. But this one I actually used water. This one I used alcohol spray. So this guy was actually filled with rubbing alcohol, and it really gets wonderful, very sea creature life type of thing in here. It gets a lot of, some crackle. It's like a real smudgy type of thing, which really, it looks really pretty. And then, of course, when I did the whole technique with the shaving lotion, you can almost see, I actually put the drops of the ink underneath to see what happens. So, yes, there are certain rules I want you to follow just to get that kind of look. Now, this guy was actually doing what you might have done already, or 1,000 years ago when you were all in kindergarten. This is a very high-end kindergarten class, and but you can see that wonderful swishy lines. This could easily, go if you used it on fabric. This could look really great on the back of a t-shirt. You'd have to be a little bit cleaner than I was. Now again, there are two methods on this one. You can let it set and then rub off the shaving cream afterwards, or you can do it right away. And if you do it right away, you're going to get this kind of almost like it's not really bleeding, but it just gives you more action to your colors and stuff. A lot of people like that because it gives almost like a dreamy effect. So either way works really well. And again, I went back and forth with this. A lot of times, class, if it was $50 worth, now it's nothing. But use an old gift card, use an old credit card or any kind of plastic. This really is nice and sharp, and it's almost like when you get snow off your windshield and stuff. So definitely use this when you're pushing away the shaving lotion and stuff, and try it a couple ways. This technique is quite, you can do it quite rapidly, so you can easily you'll definitely be able to get 3 or 4 or 5 prints during the class. Okay? Now, I started this yesterday because I wanted to show you, this is another technique that some people have used. This is actually a buildup of the shaving lotion, but what I did with this, I kept it in kind of a cool place, and all the different chemicals, hate to see what's in these shaving lotions, all these different chemicals were allowed to kind of draw out into the air. Now, of course, it's actually got a nice smell. But also, what it does is it's going to give you a whole different effect than this one. So, we'll do the unveiling right now, just so you can see what happens when we do this. I always have a spray bottle just in case. I've got different, we're also going to do a thing with stencils with this technique also, with the shaving lotion technique. I've got my acrylics here, but also, which is what we use for this, is I've got my dyes, okay? You could use food coloring, you could use the Dr. Martens or any brand that you like. Remember what, and I'll show you, I'll just show you in a minute, but this is kind of a leftover one. So when I say leftover, I'm curious myself to see how this is going to work out, because it is kind of left overnight, okay, which is another technique. So let's just start with a fresh sheet of paper, okay? Now, actually, I'm not going to, these things, I don't know if I talked about them last week, but I got these, again, at Amazon. They're just, you use them for cutting boards. They're almost like the ones that we use for the art, you know, when we're using the X-Acto blade and everything. You can just put everything right on here. These wipe off and clean off so well. So what I'm going to start off is, I am just going to do, this is just going to be a nice quickie, brushing this off, I don't know what the hell that was, brushing this off, make sure you've got a nice dry edge here, and we're going to just shake these up good, okay, and just do a nice layer. You can see we're just doing, and that's actually really enough, okay? You don't really need to do, you don't have to have so much, because so much, as you know, gets wasted anyways. So what I'm going to do right now is, I'm going to leave some of this here, but I'm also going to just smooth it out a bit, so I have a bit of a work surface. Oops, a bit of a work surface, okay? So again, you're going to have something, what we're going to try to do right now is just work that in. I don't mind some of the spots of it in the background. Some of it's going to be neutralized. Actually, I will, you know what, fill in it. Now, for any of you that are bakers, just make it like a wonderful, you could just make this like it's a wonderful cake that you're making, okay? So, you know, clean it off, get that, because you're going to be using this again. And now, in the meantime, I bought these things that I think you find a lot of fun, really inexpensive, like $7, $8. It's the whole, you know, for hair and everything, but it's also, you can, any of these kind of crafts, you know, you've got wider ones with the wider teeth, you've got ones that are just really fun, smaller ones here, which I think I'm going to use this one. Now, just pick your colors. I try to do about 3, because you don't want these to get too muddy also, okay? And that sometimes happens. So just drop them from the sky. Let those go in there a bit. You can also, at this time, I would do a normal one first, but also, if you have any old toothbrushes or something, you could sprinkle those on that also. That could work really nice. And then I'm going to do this wonderful, oh, I think this one's called Pansy. So I am going to open this guy up. And remember, just be very careful with these to avoid any kind of splatter, okay? Actually, I'm going to not use that one. Another one, orange. This is kind of, I think it's regular orange. Just get that in there. I think 3's pretty much enough. I'm going to replace the, oh, okay, perfect. I'm going to replace, oh, none of my purples seem to want it. Oh, there, okay. With a violet, okay? You can do it in blotches, you can do it in here, you can kind of drag it through. And so what we're going to do now, again, I got my handy water ready in case I have a mishap. I'm just going to play with this. You know, I'm going to start just around the edges a little. And I could actually stop this right here if I wanted to. It could have a really nice effect, but I'm not. I'm going to kind of curl in here a little, I wouldn't get too crazy about, you know, doing the perfect marbleizing technique. But it's just relaxing. It's a lot of fun. You can see this wonderful buildup that I'm getting. I'm letting a lot of the negative space go too. So I've already got my sheet of paper all ready to go. Now the good thing about these things, they're a bit bigger. So when you have this background here, and again, you could use anything. You could use the larger, these little things, you could dot those in there. Okay, you do that, throw them back in here, and now I'm going to just let this down a bit. Now remember, you're going to find everybody's hand and weight is going to be a little bit different. Even like when we screen print, you know, some people are going to have a heavier hand, some's going to be a little bit lighter, okay? So we're going to just let this go through, okay? So you can see, oh, I'd love to eat it actually, but I don't suggest doing that. So again, right away, I see an area that I could probably swish that in a little bit more, okay? And now if I wanted to, I could even go back the other way, okay? If I wanted to just see what would happen if I did this way. These are just made to be a lot of fun, and we're gonna, I'm gonna let this dry just a hair and then scrape it off, okay? Because if I was to scrape it off right this second, it's gonna be dripping down a bit, not dripping down, but looser. So I just want to see what's going to happen when I don't do that. So I'm going to just set this right here to dry. Now, I could use this, I could easily get 3 or 4 prints out of this. So you could swish it all back up again, which we could easily do. I've got my gift card here. I'm going to actually play with this a little bit more. I'm getting, you know, a whole different thing going on in here. You know, I might at this point, just to keep it different than the other one, I am just going to add a little bit of turquoise blue in here, okay? Okay, it's really, it's just one of those kind of wonderful things that you can just play with. And also, this time, I'm going with kind of a wider thing, okay? So, ready to roll, going here, going there, going there, okay? I could also go a little bit of a plaid in here, and voila, okay? Now, in this case, since it's kind of all over the place, I am going to put this right down now, okay? So, you got this, okay? I just added the extra color there, and I am going to just spread this around a bit, okay? I want that to transfer as much as possible, you know, get that area in the middle, and I've got a really cool thing going on here, okay? Now, since I don't have an assistant, I'm going to just throw these right on the floor, which is probably not the best thing to do. And I'm going to actually take back my card. I've got some, I'm going to just move this guy. I've got some area right here. I'm going to just put the leftovers here, okay? So I'm just going this down. Now remember, when you first do it, I mean, you know, it's not bad looking, but it's certainly nothing you'd bring home to your mother. However, now that we're playing with this a bit more, I've got a really nice design coming through here, okay? And I'm going to actually do it the other way, only because I kind of like this kind of running off the paper thing, okay? It just gives it a little bit more. Now remember, whatever's underneath this is already kind of been, it's already, excuse my colored fingers, it's already been basically painted onto the surface, okay? So you can see where you really can get a beautiful design of this. Again, if you were to lay over elements on top of this, it could be really cool. It'd be really, it could look really great. So now that we've done this, I just want to go back to that one that we had spoken about earlier. Just got to find it now. Here he is hiding over here. Now remember, this is another technique, and it's just, what happens is you just get to see how long that, I actually had it overnight, which is, I haven't tried it overnight. I tried it for about 5 hours before, and it really came out pretty nice, but I was more curious to see what would happen overnight, okay? So again, this is really messy, so I wouldn't do this on your couch or anything. I would do it where you have room to move, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece of paper, I'm going to take a little bit smaller piece, since this was done. Paper plates are great to use, class. Also baking sheet, not so much baking sheets, but baking pans, a little bit of an edge to them. That way you get a bigger piece of paper, okay? So I'm just going to press this down now, okay? I'm going to see what happens. Again, this is going to be a surprise to me also. Okay. I would say I'm not especially happy with it, but right now it doesn't look like much. I'm going to push it down in there again. It is better to use it like on a, I'm not crazy about the paper plate thing because, actually that looks cool. I'm not actually crazy about that just because you don't, you're so limited to that circle. Now, but again, the magic is when you take this off. Yeah, here we go. Now this starts looking a lot different than the other ones. You've had the chance to have this kind of mix up. I would try it. This might be a good idea. If we show this tomorrow, this might be a good idea when you get up on Monday to go ahead and, just keep it away from the dogs, or don't have your sister or brother, think it's pudding or something. But again, it really comes into a whole, it almost looks like it's raining, okay? Again, just a totally different technique, okay? Now, let's try one more thing here. Just clean this off again. Again, I've got some water right here. Like I said, it is pretty messy. It is extremely messy. But let's try again. But this time I want to do something a little bit different. We are going to use, we are actually going to, play with stencils a bit. And again, just see how some of these could work out. Okay, so I'm going to you don't need, again, it's not like you need that much. That's enough. Get those, clean out that card pretty good. I'm going to soak it in here for a second. Clean off that card pretty good. Or you can use any kind of ruler, which could be really nice. And I'm going to just get this clean over here. Remember, do not do this in a room with rugs or anything else, or you'll be spending your first paychecks on getting your parents a new carpet. Or in the dorm, be careful. Okay? So I'm going to just kind of mash this up a little. Okay? Almost like you're whipping a cake. I'm going to put a little bit more of the shaving lotion on here. Okay? So, again, just a little bit more at the edge. This type of thing. Now, put that down here a bit. Get that right in there. Now I would try, if I was you, just to get all different kinds of colors playing with here. Again, you've got a beautiful sunset orange. And And we've got, I'm gonna keep this kind of bright, so I'm gonna keep this yellow in here, and I'm gonna add one scarlet in here, okay? So, you know, play a crimson actually. So I'm gonna get that in there, let that drop. Okay, so that should be really good. Now, since I don't have the hugest area to work in, I am going to take another one of my, wipe this down, I'm going to take another one of these guys, move this over, and I've got my trusty gift card here. And then I am going to go ahead and, again, these comes in packs of 3 and 4, and they really work well. They're thin enough to work, and I am going to try stencils. Now remember, class, you can make stencils out of acetate. You can cut them out. You can buy them this way. You know, there were some really nice ones I saw that you could buy. Things like this are nice for imprints, but they probably get a little flat, okay? A little too thick. So now, remember, we're still dealing with this guy over here, and I am getting this kind of ready for our next step. I am going to just take a little swirly kind of thing here, okay? Going around like that. Actually, I probably will. I'm actually going to just try this in here. Try to see what happens when you do get. So that's one way of doing a stencil, is actually putting the element right on there. And again, it becomes its own. It becomes its own kind of character. Throw that in the sink. Now also, I've got my paper ready, and I'm just going to flatten this on here, okay? I'm just dying to see what this comes out at. It's not as colorful as some of the other ones I made, but I'd like to see what it comes out as, okay? So again, the stencil itself starts working. I like to actually do that again with less, I like to do that again with actually less shaving lotion. But it's all kind of trial and error. I mean, if you really check out some of the marble patterns and stuff, that could be a good way to go. And now I'm just, like I did before, letting this come out, and actually some really cool things are happening and totally unexpected, okay? So wipe these guys down good. Have tons of paper towels and Kleenexes around. And again, wipe off the areas that you're working on in here. And again, not as much color as I usually would use. It's got a nice effect to it, okay? Now, we got this guy here. Now what I'm going to do is, I am going to add a little bit more color. I love this, haven't used it in a while, but this kind of mahogany color could look great in this one. Spreading that around. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get another sheet of paper. Hold on one second. Get another sheet of paper to be here. Because this time what I want to do is, again, in lieu of a stencil, I'm going to, this is its own stencil, and I've been dying to try this one. So I'm going to put this one right down here, okay? So for this one, you really should have, you know, a little bit more color in there because you want to get this. You'll see it when it's finished, why I'm suggesting that. You got this guy in here, and I'm going to just pick out one more color from my grouping here. I'm actually going to put in a little of this. This is actually really nice. It's iridescent kind of dyes, which I think would be really nice on yours. So again, just spreading these out a little. It also comes out of the container, you know, almost like string, like fun string. So I got all that taken care of. Just give me 1 second. I got the wild beast over here, sniffing out what are you doing. Maybe not the best idea to have the dog in the same room, although he would love it, but I have a white Cocker Spaniel, so he'll be wearing every color that I have. Okay, so now I'm going to push this out here, okay? And all I need is just a little of this, okay? Now, again, I can use this again for another one, but I'm actually going to push this in here. I think it's a really cool technique that you could use. Now remember, I'm going right through these different areas. You really don't need much of the foam, but you can see this wonderful background that's coming in. Well, you can't quite see it yet. Now on this one, go back and forth. I mean, you could leave some of it if you so desire. It all depends on what your, it really just depends on what your stamp is, okay? Now remember, this really builds up color nicely. Go back, hit that, and then also, as I told you last week, just know when to stop because sometimes you can overdo it, like I think I just did, but I'm going to take this off now. First I'm going to wipe my hands, have a drink. So we got this wonderful handmade stencil. Now look, class, how cool that is, okay? It really has a great effect. And I'm just going to let this stand just a little because I'd like to have it a little crisper. So I'm just going to let that just stand like that. In the meantime, this guy goes back over here, and I am taking another sheet of paper, and I'm just going to take a little guy this time. Something like this is nice too. If you were doing cards or like postcards, that kind of thing, you could easily do it in something like this, okay? So, since I've gotten this guy all set again, I'm going to go back in, draw these up a bit, throw this back in the water. I'm going to add just a little bit more foam. You know, I've got some nice colors going on here. And reach into my bag of goodies and grab, let me see, what's this? Okay, I'm going to do another shade of orange. Okay, so just put those all in here like that. Okay. Now remember, we've got quite a few different colors going on here, but this is one project you really can have fun with, and you don't have to worry about not having enough things to do, because it just keeps on giving. I'm going to put this right in here, mess it around. I'll take one of my combs again that I had. I'll take one of these guys again. I'm going to take a thinner one this time, since I've got a smaller working area here. Okay? Again, just play with this. I'm actually going to do kind of a plaid, which could look fun. And go back the other way. And let's see what happens, okay? again, you'll get used to the kind of pressure that works best. You know, sometimes you want to just dab it down. But look at, I mean, I think this is really pretty as is. But now, I think it's going to be extra special when I take this. Now, if you're a clean fanatic, this is probably not the best. This is certainly not the best project for you. But again, just be in an area that you're comfortable, so you don't have to, so you can have fun with this. So right now, I'm going to take off two things here. I'm going to push this down, take off this shaving lotion here. Same thing here. Take this side up. I'm going to just push that all in there. And now I'm going back up this way. And it's, I think, again, really kind of cool looking. Okay? I probably will go back when this dries and maybe do, I would probably like to get some more of a plaid going across. But it's definitely got that feeling, okay? Okay, so the last one we're going to do right here, and I hope you're all enjoying this. Remember, have a lot of fun. You can be more thought out than I'm being, meaning if you have a certain kind of like marbleized technique you want to use, and you're certainly going to have different silhouettes than I am. So right now, I'm going to do this right here. Remember, we had this guy sitting over here, okay? And again, I let it dry a little bit longer, so it'd be a little crisper. But it didn't crisp up as much. Actually, oh no, I like this better. Okay, yeah. Ooh, I love this. Calling all, success. I love it. Oh my God, I love this. Yeah, actually, I tend to go medium towards my colors, but I'm glad I went deeper. Look at this, class. I just love it. I think it's really great looking. It's fun. I mean, you couldn't even tell that it was a template. It'd be a great polka dot thing. You would definitely be able to work on this. Remember, for our next projects, you will be using one of these techniques for a commercial property, okay? Good. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day.